Hello, my name is Peter Iliescu, and today I'm doing my ECN502 Macroeconomics final presentation, and I'll be talking about demand shocks and sticky prices. So when prices are sticky or inflexible, it just refers to when the price cannot be lowered or raised to adjust the changes in demand. So basically, to illustrate this point, I've created a theoretical company that manufactures smartphones. So I've got some cost, just some general data about Peter Company here. So the cost to manufacture each smartphone is $900. The selling price for each smartphone is $1,000. And based on market research, we've determined that the optimal quantity to produce at per week is 1,000 units. This may or may not be realistic data, but just for the purposes of explaining this concept, I've just gone ahead and said that. So basically, I will draw two graphs here and just talk about the effects of when prices are flexible and when prices are inflexible. So first, I'll start off actually with the when prices are flexible. So I'll put quantity on the x-axis here. I should go over here, put price over here. So we've got 0 here. So the optimal selling price, the selling price we've determined is $1,000. I'll put 1,100 here. I'll put 900 here. And I'll put 1,000 for the quantity here and 2,000 here. So basically, when prices are flexible, we can always produce our optimal quantity of 1,000 units. So this red line here illustrates the constant quantity. So so when prices are flexible, we can always adjust the price to correspond to changes in demand. So basically, if there's higher demand, the curve might look like this. If there's medium or the demand that we expected, the curve might look like this. And if there's lower than expected demand, the curve might look like this. And these corresponding points all illustrate what it looks like when we can adjust our price when there is a situation when prices are flexible. So I think the main point to get across when talking about the flexible prices is that if the goods and services in the economy, if we take this example to the overall economy, if we can always respond to changes in demand quickly, then the economy or the business can always produce at its optimal capacity. But this isn't always the case. So next I'll talk about when prices are sticky or inflexible. I really have two options. One option is to adjust the output, which I will show on the board. And there's some problems associated with that, which I'll get into later. And the other option is that I can keep a stock of inventory on hand, which is probably a better solution in my opinion, but still has some issues with it as well. So keeping the same outline of the graph here with the same points, when the price is sticky or when it's fixed, it will stay constant at 1,000. So yeah, that's not going to change. The prices are sticky. So now I have to change my output, right? So if I'm changing my output, basically, let's say we expected it to be here. That was the optimal quantity of output that we determined. But now if demand is low, we might be producing here. If demand is high, we might have to produce here. So when prices are sticky, we have to adjust our output, or that's one of the solutions that I talked about. But there's some problems with that. Adjusting output is expensive because firms like my company, Peter Company, are always trying to produce at its least cost output. And if we were to raise our output, even if that might mean, we're selling more, it's not exactly ideal because it's not going to be least cost. It might actually cost more per unit to make more units and sell them than if we were producing at this number, the 1,000 units per week. And again, if we're lowering our output, we're not realizing the gains and the profits that we want. So the other solution that I talked about was maintaining a stock of inventories. So basically, this is a better solution. I mean, basically, if there's not demand, basically we'll just stockpile the assets or the inventory that we have, and then when demand raises, we can sell more. The problem with this is if there's a situation where there's continuous, weeks or months of low demand, then inventories pile up, and we're not making money. Unsold smartphones aren't making us money; they're just sitting there, and that's not good business. So basically, I'll talk about some of the reasons why prices are sticky or inflexible in the short run. There's two main reasons. So think about, if I were to go to, or say you were to go to, No Frills at the grocery store, and you want to buy like some toothbrushes or, just some small goods or everyday products, and you go in one day and it's like $5, and then the next day it's like 10, and it's constantly fluctuating. That's not good for businesses. Consumers want the prices to be stable, and the changing prices are difficult on both sides to plan and adjust for. If I were to go to No Frills and I was just looking for everyday products and they're always changing on me, I would feel like I'm being taken advantage of by the big people, the big wigs or whatever. And I think that's a sentiment that a lot of customers might feel as well. And it would be smart for businesses to avoid that. The second reason for the sticky prices, there's many reasons, but the second big one is when we're talking about the possibility of a price war. So I think this is mostly prevalent in oligopolies. If you think about industries in which maybe 2, 3, 4 firms control, up to 7, I guess, firms control the lion's share of the market. Basically, they can choose to get in a price war. They wouldn't choose that, but if one company starts slashing prices, then the other companies would just simply match that. And instead of increasing market share, they're all just actually reducing prices and thus reducing their revenues. So if we are to apply this theoretical situation with my smartphone company to the economy as a whole, basically many economists believe that sticky or inflexible prices are responsible for the changes, the fluctuations in the business cycle. The short-run fluctuations in the business cycle in the world's economies. So if demand falls for a prolonged period of time, the firms will cut production, GDP will obviously fall with the reduced production, and the unemployment rate will rise because less people are being employed to fulfill these production demands. On a greater scale, that's what happens. The unemployment rate will obviously go up if more people are not being employed to fulfill these demands. On the other hand, if demand rises for a prolonged period of time, the firms will obviously increase production to fulfill this demand, and this will cause the GDP to go up or the GDP to increase, and the unemployment rate will fall because more people will be in the workforce to help fulfill these production demands. So thank you for listening to my presentation on demand shocks and sticky prices, and have a great day. Thank you.